things, which is really awesome. So let me. We have five main senses, but we have hundreds of little micro senses that we have. All righty, let's open up our live. Here we are. Yay, we got it. We got it. NeoI, it's great to see you. All right, guys. So here we are. We are on our live. We made it. Happy to see you guys. SJ, hello, joining for the first time. Welcome. It's so wonderful to see you here. Just ironing out some little technical bumps along the way. Problem solved. Yes, Kevin, problem is solved. All right, guys. So let's jump into it. Isla says, technology is my friend. Technology is my friend. Yes. gotta use that mantra. Technology is our friend. I have to just say it's divine timing. Whenever it's the time, I guess that's when we go. All right. So how have you guys been? I want to hear from you. I've been getting a lot of messages about how you guys are feeling the sensitivities. The full moon was a powerful one. How did you guys experience that? I hope that you guys are feeling good in your integration, in your healing, in your process, in the meditations. How are you progressing? Really important is that right now is the time to do the work, okay? And it's gonna feel like it's difficult to sit down and do this work, and some emotions are going to feel exponentially bigger than what they really are. It's going to feel difficult to focus on emotions. It's going to feel difficult to sit with those emotions, and that's exactly what we need to be doing. So this month, which worked out perfectly, I had to reschedule the emotional processing, learning how to master your emotions for this month. And it's absolutely, I understand why it happened, because this month is absolutely needed for us to really understand how to process our emotions. If you guys are feeling very powerful emotions, overwhelmed by emotions, this is where the work is. This is where the gold is. So we want to work with that. And when we start resisting, we just have to notice how often we move away from the present moment with ourselves. If you start to feel lonely, disconnected, if you're completely unaware of yourself on a higher level, if you're just constantly in survival, if your muscle system in your solar plexus is constantly contracted, those are very clear indications, clear signs that you are not processing your emotions, and we are in a state of resistance, and we are not in the present moment. And what happens is that we are outside of the body. And remember, you feel lonely, you feel disconnected when you leave your body. So when you're outside of your body, you're not grounded in your body, your body becomes abandoned. Okay, so the question is, do you want to abandon your body? And remember that getting into this work, it takes effort, because we have to sit with difficult emotions. And unless you're meditating every day, sitting with those emotions and being absolutely on top of your emotions all the time, this work doesn't go away. It just accumulates. And the resistance to certain emotions just keeps storing and storing and storing and storing in the back end, until finally it feels like you just want to explode. And you have overwhelm, and a lot of people are feeling losing their selves, losing their grounding, losing their connection to themselves, their state of awareness. So this is something that we can prevent very easily, but also it takes some attention to the self. And what I notice is that as you get into those under layers of emotions, it's amazing how the emotions themselves, they pull up everything that you need to know. Basically, you're feeling everything that you're um, suppressing for a week, a month. It's all there for you. So we have a lot of really, really beautiful tools that we can use, and all of them are in the sensory emotional body. So one thing that we can do in feeling our emotions is, as soon as you start to identify the emotion that you're feeling, no matter how uncomfortable that is, to be able to sit with it and let all of the uncomfortable emotions come up. Okay. So an example, if you feel anxiety or stress, and you allow those emotions to start coming up, and you find underneath that anxiety is you notice, you know, anger. And the thing is that these emotions, they're going to feel sometimes inaccessible or intangible. Sometimes they're going to feel like very distant, very light, but they're there. You know they're there because you feel them, and because they run your entire life. Sometimes you're feeling them earlier in the week and you just avoid that emotion, so it's accumulating again within you. And triggers external to us, when we're completely disconnected from our bodies, when we're outside of our bodies, when we're disconnected from our bodies, when we're not, nobody's home here. Basically, these emotions completely run your life. They completely run what you want to do. They run your decisions. And usually in DNA reprogramming with my clients, we're able to unpack and get to the root core, personally looking at how you ended up in this situation that you find yourself now. Perhaps you're in a situation that you're not happy with anymore, or you wish you could change. So we always end up in complicated situations that we don't want to be in, as a result of being asleep. And so the invitation is that we look back at, when was it that we fell asleep? When did we last have consciousness? When was the last time that we were aware, and we were aware of our awareness in our body? When were we present with ourselves? When was the last time you remembered yourself? As Gurdjieff called it, to remember yourself is to be constantly remembering yourself, instead of getting lost in the hypnosis, in this hypnotic state, in the dream state of the physical. Because the more that we lose ourselves in the sensations of the external world through the stimulation, right? So something happens, triggers, we go into a slew of emotions, and because we don't know how to process those emotions, most of us are resisting, escaping, anything to avoid whatever those emotions might be. And so this is where we want to wake up again and catch those moments, so that we can sit with that emotion immediately, address it, acknowledge it. You see, people feel so lonely. This number one thing that people message me about is the feeling that it's very disconnected. I don't belong in the family. I don't have a good friend circle of people that can relate to me and have the conversations that I want to talk about. Well, at the very core of that is this constant self-abandonment, which is usually mirrored by something mother or father did, right? Because again, you're going to notice that it's something that passes down your ancestral lineage many generations. Mother has a tendency to avoid herself and her emotions and her feelings all the time. Father has a tendency to suppress everything he wants to say, wants to do, wants to express. And so we carry those, right? And for you, it can be different, of course, the dynamics. But you have to notice that these programs are so powerful. They create the entire structure of our perception. And it goes so deep that we don't even realize that we're operating from that place. We think it's just regular human nature, regular behavior. But the more you wake up and the more you come into stillness, the more you realize how things are so deeply inverted, how what we think is peace is actually chaos. It's actually resistance. It's actually denial. It's actually fear. It's actually anger. and that a lot of the things that drive our lives are these emotions that have been unresolved, right? So this is where we have to really take a look at these patterns in a very serious way, because obviously what happens after that in the vibrational frequency of the body is that every emotion that you resist, essentially that vibrational frequency of that emotion becomes more and more dense, more heavy. And we essentially begin to crystallize this into our energetic field, because it's a reinforcement, a constant reinforcement of that belief system. So we then essentially, as for those of you that were with me in my parasitism class, we develop these parasites, these thought forms that feed off the repetition of those emotions, the repetition and the triggering of those belief systems that have been unresolved. So one of the easiest ways to interrupt this creation system, this imbalanced creation system, because we create in many different ways. We can create in a way that's harmonious, positive, and abundant. And we can also create in a way that we are contracted, suppressed, resistant, and really not moving very much, right? So energetically, the invitation is that the more you become more conductive bioelectrically, the more you are able to manifest, work, attract, co-create in a way that is incredibly powerful. A little plant. Sorry. So this is really important. And I guess the strongest invitation for being grounded right now, because the world is going through major, major changes. And please understand that I've been talking about these changes for the past 2 years, and even before that, but more specifically, the changes that are happening right now are things that we've been seeing for a long time coming. And the restructuring of our societal ideas, our norms, the way that we carry our life is going to be changing. It's very important right now that you're dedicating your time in understanding what your gifts are. It's important that you understand who you really are. That way you can find out what your offerings are to this world, because it's what you offer to this world that will bring you into health, vitality, security, abundance. And remember that the new model of survival is no longer a primitive model of just let's avoid death. This is now, we are maturing into a human race in which we are learning how to no longer survive just to avoid death, but to create and to truly experience consciously this human life. And in order to experience consciously the human life, we have to be present all the time. That is how we are going to apply our free will. Without the application of presence, you are at the mercy of your fears, and that is what creates your life experiences. And the constant creation from your fears only creates more fear. So right now, with the world that is changing, a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. Things are going to be restructured politically, in many different ways. Financially, there's tremendous amount of changes that are going to move very quickly in the world. And so for that reason, this is kind of a preparation time. I mentioned many times that 2025 is a preparation time for this change. This is a time for you to clean up your loose ends with the things that are unresolved in your life emotionally. Handle your trauma, especially in your family. Address this kind of unresolved emotions in yourself so that you can have a very strong, stable foundation for the next phase. The next phase essentially is you applying your wisdom in a way to co-create with discernment. Those of you that are sleeping, that are disconnected, that are completely, unaware of yourself and your limitations, you guys are going to be in the survival model. Okay, so there's two different ways that you can experience the coming times. One is that you stay in the primitive state of survival, which means that you're only avoiding death. You're avoiding death from your illnesses. You're avoiding death from terrible environments that's dangerous and not where you should be. You're avoiding death from, family circumstances that are causing you fear, anxiety, overwhelm. You see, remember that for the primitive mind, death is essentially all of the disharmonious states, emotionally, physically, bioelectrically, biogeometrically, essentially are killing us. We move in a form that is centrifugal, where our life force is depleted in such a powerful way that essentially we annihilate this beautiful creation, this potential that is available to you. And little by little, the more you go down the path of death, which is essentially contraction, it's limitation, it's this finite perception of yourself and everything around you. And it's a very limited way of looking at your potential. So this constant belief system is something that it limits your expansiveness, your expansion. So another element that's really important is that as you learn to co-create, what is really happening is that you're in the present moment, you're aware of your emotions, and you are aligning and being congruent. Your actions are in harmony with your true knowing. So one of the things that causes a lot of chaos for people in their creative process is because we don't know ourselves enough, we don't realize what perception we're using to create. And that causes a lot of chaos for a lot of people because you might not realize why you're choosing to do something. And it's extremely important at this time, this month, to ask yourself, what are my intentions really? And if anywhere in that dialogue you begin to discover that actually it's the pain body speaking, or the fear, or the inner child that's unresolved, unloved, unprotected, unneeded, and your choices are coming from there, this is a good time to wake up and change directions, because these timelines are leading us collectively into timelines of experiences that are going to be either more challenging down the pathway of fear or more creative in the pathway of harmony. And the difference between those is that when you come into harmony with yourself, when you are in alignment with your higher self, when you integrate your higher self, which means that you know yourself very well, you are very connected to your emotions, you're connected to your triggers, so you know what's triggering you and not triggering you, what's illusion and what's reality. Because the majority of our actions that are done from the triggers is an illusion, okay? Because it's a very incomplete reality. Whatever is triggering you, your response is merely based on survival, and that's a very myopic perception of creation. So it blinds you from all the other potential that is available to you. And so the creation that is made from that limited perception is going to result in even more suffering. And again, resonance and the laws of the universe, you are aligning in yourself with, again, the same kind of trigger you are creating in your life. So more pain, more suffering, more traumas, more helplessness, more overwhelm. These things are mirrored. Your external reality, whatever it is that you are picking up in the world around you, whether it's through the news or whatever you're watching on medias, listening, whatever you're experiencing with friends and family, those are all, even natural collective disasters, are a complete reflection of your unresolved emotional instability. Every single one of you is responsible for the creation of your experience. And many of you don't want that to be true. But the fact is that if you want to talk about creating timelines on the quantum level, in order to create an actual timeline, you have to be aligned with the vibrational frequency of what that feels like. And if you are consistently in a state of anxiety and stress and survival, you will reinforce that into the creation of your reality. And again, it's going to exacerbate all the triggers that have been unresolved for only the unique reason that you resolved them. So if you are a person that is right now feeling overwhelmed, lonely, come back into your body. In order to alchemize loneliness, it is very simple. Embody yourself fully. Be fully present in your body. Be here with yourself now and observe your environment from this place. Okay? So, let me go ahead and open up a little presentation that I want to share with you. Let's talk about energy in the body. For creation, for selecting timelines. If we want to create a different experience, you see everything that we're experiencing globally, floods, for example, there's, this universe is so beautiful. This life is so beautiful. So, the symbolism of water, which is our creative life forces, it's related to our sexual energy. It's related to our emotional energy. When we have a tremendous emotions of astrologically, cosmic systems are moving to exacerbate our emotional system. Okay. And it's happening in many different ways. The cosmic movements, solar flares participate in that. I post a lot about how solar flares are affecting our energy system, our emotional system. So we have to be aware of that. Okay, we've had a lot of really strong solar storms and movements, and they will affect you if you are completely unconscious and disconnected from your body. The more unconscious and disconnected you are from your body, the more they are going to affect you. So we want to come back to the important basics of life force cultivation. Remember, in the Taoist concept of qi, the Taoist philosophy, it's understood as the fundamental life force that permeates and animates all things. It is neither just physical and it's neither etheric. We're talking about both. Okay. So we have many different types of qi. I'm going to name out a couple. We have yuan qi, which is your primordial or original qi, which is inherited at birth. That's your DNA. Okay. We have your gu qi, which is your food qi derived from digestion. So anything that you're eating, the nutrients, the vitamins, all the life force that you gain from what you're digesting, drinking. Kong Qi, which is the outer Qi absorbment through breathing. Okay, so whatever we are breathing, the air that we're breathing, the energy that we're moving through our breath. Remember that even air is life force. It is life force, and we can absorb energy through our environment. Our skin is absorbing energy through our skin, through the pores in your body. We are absorbing energy through the body. We can go into the forest and we can forest bathe, which it's not just about being there and enjoying the beauty of your forest, but it's also being conscious about how you are interacting with the energy systems through your toroidal field. Your toroidal body essentially is moving, spinning So the more time you spend in nature, the entire toroidal field comes into harmonic order, is cleaning up the energy in a way so that your body can come back to its natural movement in a centripetal manner. And the more we come into feelings of awe and beauty and harmony, pure love, right, in the present moment, these are not just emotions, they're entire states of being. They're bioelectrical, biogeometric structures of being that the body comes back into harmony, harmonic order. That's what it means to come back into harmonic order. Okay. So Zen Qi is a true Qi, which is formed from the combination of these sources. Okay. So you see, everything is so deeply interconnected for the human. Anytime that, your DNA, anytime the food that you're eating, the air, we're talking about epigenetics here, right? Because all this is data, energy, it's information. Okay, so everything that you're absorbing from your environment, whether it's a toxic environment, toxic living environment, toxic relationship, toxic belief systems about yourself, toxic talk towards yourself, all of that is emotional energy that you are, it's life force that you're circulating through your body, and your environment will participate in either expanding on that, mirroring that, engaging with that, or triggering those things. So the combination and the balancing, harmonizing of all these energy systems and how we are absorbing life force is how we create creative life force. Gen Qi can also be seen as the combination of all these sources becomes your creative potential. Okay, so the more harmonious the energy that you are processing through your organism is, the more directional conscious your creation becomes, which in the bigger picture, it also defines the timelines that you are coming into. And you can be in a world where everything is flooding around you, and you are the one person that is, safe and dry and good. And this is not something that is random. This is something that is completely part of a human bioelectrical creation system. The cultivation of qi in the Taoist structures developed sophisticated techniques for gathering, storing, circulating, refining qi. These include breathing regulations, energetic orbits like the microcosmic, and macrocosmic orbits, standing practices, Zhangxuan, and the visualization methods. Okay, so in the microcosmic orbit, which let me just pull that up. The microcosmic orbit is essentially your energy body that you are learning how to open up the blockages in your energy body so that you can learn how to come into greater harmony with greater energy systems. What are those systems? The first energy system is the planet Earth. Okay, so first, remember, you have a system in your body, your chakra system. Every single one of these chakras is correlating to your endocrine system. It's correlating to your nervous system. Each one of these chakra bodies is operating at different vibrational frequency ranges. So you are operating through all of those. And to bring these systems, these energy systems into harmonic order, we need to align with natural systems of creation. So one of those ways, sorry, let me just find my graphic here. Microcosmic orbit. One of those ways is that we open up the pathways that are blocking the life force in the body. Okay, so if your energy body is blocked, your solar plexus right now, everyone check in. Which part of your body is your most blocked right now? Okay, is it your solar plexus? Do you feel it in your chest? Every single one of you has a part of your body that is blocked or congested energetically. And this is what we start to work with, right? So looking at the microcosmic orbit, so the energy of your body, because you're a toroidal energy system, it's rotating, right? This is how the energy rotates. Okay, so every time the energy is moving through your energy body here, it's irrigating information, it's absorbing information again from your morphogenetic field, is intercommunicating with the bioelectrical system of your nervous system, your biochemical emotional system, and your endocrine system. So the blockages that we maintain inside the body are going to be thought forms, the contraction of your system, limiting beliefs that, again, they're thought forms. And then anytime that you fall asleep, okay, so anytime that you forget yourself, whenever you forget yourself and you're not home, this energy system cannot be moving. It becomes dormant and sluggish, which is the pathway to death, because you are a living organism, and consciousness is only emerging when it's observed. So if you do not observe yourself through the remembering of yourself, this entire creative engine that is choosing timelines, attracting yourself to people, places, and things, your free will and your ability to choose your life and choose your direction and change what's happening, it becomes null because you're not home, basically. The invitation is essentially that the more you reconnect with your body, bring yourself fully into your body right now, right here. Come connect with your back, connect with your bottom, connect with your legs, connect with your feet. Be fully present in those parts of your body, because those parts of your body that you don't think of twice throughout your day are the ones that are processing information from around you unconsciously. You have to understand how incredibly powerful you are as a human. You have to remember how incredibly powerful you are as a human. You are a system of manifestation, a system of creation that affects not just what you say, what you're imagining in your daydreaming. It doesn't just affect the things that you're doing in your relationships or in your life. You are moving universes with every choice that you make through your vibrational energy emotional system. And that's the thing that a lot of us, when we start waking up consciousness to how interconnected we are to everything around us, sometimes you experience existential crisis because you don't realize how deeply interconnected you are to all of these greater systems. You are entire universes that is becoming aware of itself. And so, we talk about interdimensional contact and experiences, connecting with all these different species, because it's really important that you realize how multidimensional you are. It's not because of the fascination of interdimensionals or ETs or UFOs. All of that is the cover story for the actual truth, which is the incredible free will and creative potential that the human has, that if every human on this planet would realize, our world would be very different today. And the systems that are let's say the 1% that is trying to brainwash and hypnotize everybody into this belief system of disempowerment just evaporate overnight, because you would know deeply by connecting to yourself how untrue that is on a very deep level. And essentially, you would realize how meaningless it is to experience this feeling of helplessness, hopelessness, disconnect, feeling lonely and separation. Those are illusions based on lies and ignorance of who you really are. And nothing can take that away from you, because it's the structure of your entire complex organism. You are a system of manifestation and creation. So when we look at the intricacies of these interconnected systems, of energy systems, remember that every main organ and all the organs in your body are processing different frequencies. They're processing different emotions. Okay. And so every time that we are feeling an emotion, you're going to feel it in your body. So my invitation is, as in with every week, is for you to be very aware of the emotions that you're feeling and the things that trigger those emotions and where in your body you feel them. Okay, I'm going to go deeper into all of these explanations in my emotional mastery class, because this is a really important thing to learn about processing emotions. But we don't realize how much we're storing in the body. So let me just come back to this over here. Yeah, a lot of these things are kind of like, you guys already know all this stuff. You know, this is kind of like basic stuff. Okay, so let me go to where I want to talk about here. So these are case studies on energy work. Okay, let me come over here to choosing timelines, which is on this other presentation, because this is what I really want to impart on you right now. We choose timelines based on what frequencies we are most processing through the body. Okay, so right now, with so much change and chaos in the world, please understand nothing will stop the direction we're going in, because we need to go in that direction. Okay, we need change. We need the change. This old system is not working. It's not been working, and humanity is again continuously falling back asleep into states of this slumber of disconnect and disempowerment. And what needs to happen at this time is that as we wake up consciousness and we become more aware of ourselves, that we can understand how much choice we have in what we're experiencing in the present moment. How? Because you are proactively listening to your intuition, and you trust your intuition in the insights that are coming through your intuition for your spiritual development, emotional healing, ancestral healing, and life experiences. So that's your relationships, your career, your family, and what you're doing. And right now, it's a very important time to listen to that intuition, because, as always in this universe, we experience the law of accident when we fall asleep. What is the law of accident? Laws of accidents are essentially to wake you back up and to remind you once again where you need to be focusing on. Okay, so if you are completely unconscious and disconnected from, first of all, your needs, you don't know yourself, so you don't even know what your needs are. That's a big problem. So please take the time to really sit with yourself and understand what are your needs, emotionally, mentally, physically, and learn how to provide those needs for yourself. So if the core belief system is that of unsafety, you have a belief system that you are not safe, that you're not safe in your home, you're not safe in your environment, what is it that you need in order to be able to provide safety for yourself? And always make sure that you're not externalizing the need, because what happens in that case, again, we become centrifugal. Our life force begins to deplete. We look outside of us in order to feel protected. We look for the God, we look for the advanced being to save us, to direct us, to download information into us. Nobody can heal you. Nobody can clean you from entities or attachments. It's all you. You are the one that has to do that. Okay, so anybody that tries to tell you, I'm going to remove something from you, or I'm going to save you, I'm going to heal you, I'm going to change, no, it's always you. And you literally have to participate in your own healing. And that, because the key to this universe of creation is consciousness, it's awareness. There is no easy fix for anything. Okay, please understand, a lot of people have this misconception that if you just feel a certain emotion, you're good, you're going to be fine. And it's much more complex than that. because we are creative beings. So the more accountability you take for your creation, the more gentle your life experiences will be. From the genetic level, remember that everything that you're choosing to do in your life is creating either order, harmonic order, or disorder and disharmonic um, incoherence in the body. The human that begins to operate in a way that's centripetal, which means that they meet their needs, they become their source of information. You are the one that connects to your higher self. You are the one that downloads all the information that you need to download for yourself through yourself. Okay, this is really important. A lot of people are disconnected from those abilities. But right now, what is going to help you in the moving and changing of this world is that you learn how to channel information for yourself, because nobody will provide you with the incredible depth of understanding, the history, ancestral, emotional, all the experiences that you've had, and then provide you unique information that is perfect to your context of understanding more than yourself. If you're busy listening to other people's information, you're going to be busy following things that you might not even need to be following. It might not be for you. And I see this a lot. In the spiritual community, it's almost like we're making it another religion, and we're falling back asleep again, because now we depend on what we're hearing from other people, but we don't know how to reach that information for ourselves. Even in the UFO community or the disclosure community, there's a lot of psychological operations to disinform you in the belief system that there is something more advanced outside of you. For example, with AI, people are depending on AI to understand spiritual concepts. Good luck. You see, the thing that most people don't understand is that these kinds of spiritual concepts, they're not meant to just be known or heard as information. The understanding, the deep integration of those concepts is the restructuring of your geometry in your body. That is what we need as a human race. And there's no way you're going to get that just by listening to someone. It doesn't matter if they tell you, I'm going to upgrade you with light language, sounds, or noises. No, because you see, that is the thing about free will. For us to apply our free will, you have to be the creator of your understanding, the creator of your path. And also, when you alchemize false belief systems into higher octave belief systems, you're healing not just for yourself, your entire ancestral lineage. And it's very important in the healing process that you consciously link your advancement and you understand how you are carrying your ancestral lineage into this new advancement, because you are not separate from your bloodline. Every time that you have an awareness, an aha moment, a moment of realization, where you realize, oh, we're repeating the pattern of helplessness in our family, all of us, all the women, all the men, experiencing that. Oh, now I understand. This is the pattern I need to end. This is the new pattern I need to create, or the new creative behavior I need to pull into my life. That's not something that somebody can give you easily. You have to dig into yourself and understand deeply what you are doing, because our lives are intertwined. And when you go deep into these levels, you begin to see how you chose your partner, your life partner, as a result of that belief system. How you married into another bloodline that is also repeating that same belief system. Those are deeply integrated things. And now you have children. Your children are going to be repeating the same thing. Okay, so That's why to fall asleep is very expensive. It's expensive in terms of time, right? The illusion of time on the human planet. We dread going into these deep emotions because we think we're going to be overwhelmed. But in reality, once you acknowledge the emotions, you begin to understand the language of the universe, which is frequency, which is emotion. And those emotions create bioelectrical structures, geometrical structures in the body that are restructuring the harmonic order of your entire being. Your DNA, the epigenetically, the information that you're storing in your DNA and reading from your DNA. Because DNA activation, it's both ways, right? What you're inputting and what you're outputting. What you're reading from your DNA becomes limited when you can only process certain frequencies. DNA requires a very broad range of vibrational frequency language. How do you develop the vibrational frequency language of DNA? Is that you allow yourself to be very aware of all the ranges of emotions that you have as a human. Emotional frequencies, emotional energy, emotional data are entire universes, because remember, every chakra is processing a certain frequency range of emotions. And every single one of these chakras is the vortex into dimensions, many dimensions, but dimensions within a certain range of frequency. Every single one of these chakras that is operating a certain octave of frequency, and we are moving through these different octaves of frequencies in our dream state and in our waking state. The majority of people are just repeating what's in the DNA in the terrestrial life, conditioned. Very superficial layer of conditioning upon the depths of information that you have within you. But you're just repeating at a surface level what mom and dad and grandma, grandpa, ancestor have been repeating. And the problem with that is that we are repeating a false construct. We are reinforcing the matrix through the unconscious repetition of these behavioral experiences, emotions, belief systems. So if you want to be a person that sees another way of existing, a more harmonious way of living and existing, we have to proactively dismantle, deconstruct these core belief systems in your body, which is emotional, bioelectrical, biochemical addictions that we are holding in the body, which are sustaining parasitism in your biome, energetically, emotionally, psychologically. We embody parasitism dynamics, which is, once again, it's the denial of your own free will. It is the suppression of your truth. And it's the resistance of the innate truth, the innate universal truth that you are infinite potential and that you are already existing in harmony. Okay, so that's the other part. Like, we think of this as so many layers, which they are, but they're layers of inverted order. In reality, you are already in natural order, harmonic order. We have to return back to this natural harmonic order because your beautiful organism is already operating. But that's why when you go into nature, you start to heal. People start to heal when you connect with the sunlight. You know, the body begins to regenerate, the photons, the energy, all of this chemical processes that are happening in the body are all intricately interconnected with movement of bioelectrical systems. Okay, so the more that this bioelectricity is moving through the body fluidly, we come into harmonic order with the Schumann resonance with Earth. Okay, so Earth, that's very important for those of you that are healing emotionally, physically. If you have pain in your body, for you to come back into your body and come back into the resonance of the planet Earth is it's an ocean, an infinite ocean of healing energy, of harmonic energy for you. that brings you back into balance. That's why grounding and connecting back to the center of the earth is so healing for humans. Okay, but the majority of this construct is saying, hey, focus on this material thing, or focus on this disaster over here, focus on this political injustice that is happening over here. Look at what family members are doing. Look at what your brother is doing. Look at what your husband is doing. Okay, so again, we get very distracted. What we need to remember now as we move into major global changes, major distractions, is to come back to harmonic order in the present moment where your power lies. Your power lies in the present moment in a state of very deep reconnection with your body, in a state of deep awareness where you are applying discernment in order to navigate this world utilizing your free will and being very conscious of when your creative potential is being manipulated, monopolized first by yourself, right? Yourself, sabotaging yourself, but also by other systems that are pulling at your energy. Everything wants to pull from your energy. So the invitation is that you regather your energy, and with clarity, you become a generator of creation, mind, body, and soul. This is when the unification happens of the three dantians that we talk about, right? The energy systems come into harmonic order integration, as I mentioned earlier. And basically, the combination of these three energy systems is what creates everything. Okay, so principal energy, of course, you have your security, your safety, your sexual energy, creativity, your relationships energy, your emotional energy, and your empowerment. Your empowerment lies in the mastery of your emotions. If you don't master your emotions, and right now we are cosmically moving through emotionally exacerbating energies. So remember that when you're not fully in your body and you're not in the 0 point, these cosmic movements, you're going to feel them very strongly, because the more you are attached to the physical external world and the more you're not in your body is aligning with these larger systems. It's driven by larger systems. Nobody's home. But the human that is fully grounded and embodied in their body and begins to apply conscious free will, we begin to transcend those powerful influences from matrix influences, manipulations, attacks. Forget about demons, forget about attachments, forget about entities. You become neutral to that, because everything in this universe is resonance. Everything is resonance. Remember the Hermetic principles, the laws of the universe are extremely important. It's important that you remember those. Let me come back to that. Okay, remember the 7 Hermetic principles, these universal laws that remind us of how things are actually functioning, because everything in the universe operates by these laws. And if you're not aware of them, if you are disconnected from them, if you fall asleep and can't recognize them, we don't realize why we're in chaos. Now, these are things that become apparent when you're doing your work, okay? So it's so simple. You can say you were stressed out yesterday and you dig deeper into that emotion of stress. You find out you felt helpless, overwhelmed, lonely, disconnected. Well, there's 4 different principles here that you're not remembering. Correspondence, right? The law of correspondence, law of vibration, law of cause and effect, law of polarity. All of these are intricately interwoven into every single moment that you are creating. consciously and unconsciously, because the alternative of these, so the negative creation of these is going to result in suffering, of course, separation, fear, pain, disconnect. And so the invitation is really that we begin to work with that on a deeper level. I have some questions. Let me jump into some questions here. Please go ahead and put your questions in capital letters. I have been doing your challenges consistently, but certain events of the past, the emotional charge still stays. Can you do one long self-hypnosis like a present life regression? Yes, on Friday had it. Okay, so SJ, this is a really important comment, and I've been getting this comment a lot this week about how past event emotional charges, they stay. So what this means is that we still haven't alchemized, we haven't found and localized the root yet of this experience. Okay, so it might be that well, actually, it is the root of these experiences go way beyond that when it first began. Okay, so let's say you have one trauma memory. You might think everything started there, but actually, if you sit with the emotions, you're gonna break down the trauma emotion. Okay, let's say it's like severe fear, and then all of a sudden, underneath, you begin to uncover unsafety, that you felt very unsafe. And then you realize, I'm really familiar with the feeling of unsafety. Turns out I've always felt unsafe, even as a baby, even in the crib, even in my mother's womb, I'm feeling unsafe. So this is the first key to understanding what's really the root cause. That is the emotion that has to be alchemized. I'm simplifying things because it goes in layers to get to those emotions. But let's say that the core emotion turns out it's the feeling of unsafety. And in your mother's womb, you discover actually mom was feeling unsafety when she was carrying me. And everything triggered her. And I'm feeling her contractions and her emotions and her stress, her anxiety, all these survival mechanisms and behaviors constantly. So remember that these form and shape psychologically, biologically, biochemically in the body. We begin to memorize that state of it becomes a filter of perception in our biology. So this is the one that has to be alchemized. This root emotion will show itself in every life experience that you've had. It'll be the underlying root cause. And until you alchemize that root to understand what is really true. Okay, so first of all, you took on all mother's emotions. This is just an example, guys. He took on all mother's emotions, and now he believed that he needed to be also feeling unsafe. So the opposite of that would be for them to understand that they are safe. And the opposite would be to understand, okay, how do we feel safe? What do we need? So if you feel unsafe, you feel unprotected, what do you need in order to feel protected? Let's say I need to trust myself. Oh, okay. So there you go. So that would be the beginning of the alchemization process. You learn how to trust yourself and all the intricacies underneath that self-trust. It could be that you're actually pause and listen to yourself. You pause and you act from a place that is congruent with your needs, and you're aware of your needs. That way you're not going down the path of self-sabotage or aligning yourself with people that are not in alignment with you. Okay, so it's an entire restructuring of your belief system, which is affecting your actions every moment. And your actions are biochemical, bioelectrical, biophysical, geometric movements in your energy system. So that when you alchemize that and you become the safety, now you feel safe. Now you realize, I feel safe all the time because all I have to do is reconnect with my body and check in with what I need. And then if I start feeling unsafe, I begin to fill myself with safety. And then I know exactly how to navigate those potentially unsafe experiences from a place of grounded certainty, conscious awareness, and free will. Because nothing can really hurt you without your consent. We are not at the mercy of anything or anyone when you are awake. Okay. Now I'm going to say that from a lower perspective, from a simplified perspective, right? Because every experience that we have in life is for our growth. And sometimes we need to grow through challenging experiences. But when you're awake, you can recognize that sooner. So the suffering, the effect isn't as profound as a traumatizing experience unconsciously. There's a very big difference between that. Okay, so the alchemization of these is really important. And what happens when you do this work? It doesn't matter if you relive that experience again, you will never feel the emotional trauma again. It becomes neutralized. So you can literally relive the traumatizing memory in your mind, and it won't cause the same emotional distress that it used to because you were able to zoom out and see the bigger picture. So that's DNA reprogramming, what we do. Now, for hypnosis, yes, you can do a hypnosis on yourself if you can guide yourself through that process. I mean, I was able to do all of this myself as well. So yeah. Zoraika says, doing good, not getting that often distracted this week, still feeling the self-trust expansion in my heart I felt during our last call. That's amazing. Zoraika, so proud of you. Zoraika's doing self-love coaching and she's doing amazing. SJ says, I am cleaning out the 7 bodies, physical, etheric, astral, mental, causal. Yep. Where are the effects occurring? I read somewhere Ho'oponopono works on astral level, so only up to my 3rd body. The solar plexus effects are happening. Can you clarify your questions, please, SJ, there? Causal body and my research states. Can you make your questions short and concise for me, my love, because it's a little too much to read. I can change my soul contract in this lifetime by tapping into 3rd eye, Bodic body. So how do I really change this in the Bodic body and create an alternate timeline? Okay, so let me read. So causal body in my research states has all the karmic loads, and in order to change this karmic load in my current lifetime, it is the Bodic body where changes need to be made, thereby changing the karmic destiny or manifestation. Let's say happy marriage, while in current timeline up until now I have faced emotional abuse, so there's no energy. Okay, so this concept, it's not 100% correct, and I'm not sure where this came from. You said in your research, but I'm not sure where that came from. Karma is simply cause and effect, and we store the cause and effects of all of our life experiences in the entire body. Every single chakra is processing different levels of this information. Different levels of information, and every single chakra is representing an archetypal layer of those cause and effect experiences that we're playing out. Okay, so for example, you're mentioning the solar plexus here, and the solar plexus is storing all of these emotions, right? So the solar plexus is operating a certain range of emotions. The sacral is processing similar range of emotions, but at another octave. You see, so there are many layers to this. So it's not so simple to say that only the causal body has all the karmic lessons. No, because we actually we are operating on many levels. In the etheric realm, we also have uh, contracts and agreements that we're creating from many past lives, from our ancestral lineage, for example. And all of that is being processed through many of the layers of our body. So how do I really change this at the bodic body and create an alternate timeline? So yeah, it's, this kind of work, it's not so much about the bodies. That's why, I usually advise people do the emotional work first and then try to map out the chakra system later. Because for every single person, you will understand your chakras very unique to you. What that means is that this rainbow color chart is very general, limited belief system. It has nothing to do with you because your chakras are operating at different frequencies. Some of you have blocked chakras, some of you have open, some of them are overactive. So the colors of your chakras are going to be different. The information that you're processing is also going to be different based on the kind of traumas that you guys have had. Each one of you has a different formula for how your frequency is being created. So we have to move through all the chakras and clear the memory in the chakras. And you start at the root, all of your belief systems of safety and separation, just like, charts of co-creation. Let me see if I can find that right now. Every single chakra that you clean in the body, and again, how can I explain this in a way that is very easy to understand? Let's use fear as an example. Fear can manifest in different ranges of frequency in the body. Your root chakra might be processing fear in one way. Your sacral processing in another way. Your solar, it's another lineage of fear, right? Another fractal of fear. Your heart chakra, you have another layer that you have fear. Okay, so every single one of your emotions is intricately tied to the different chakra levels and also your states of creation. So we move from the root, from the most primitive state of separation into the highest level. Go ahead, SJ, unmute yourself.
Hello, Geraldine. Am I audible?
Yes, welcome.
Yes, thank you. So my question was, if I am changing my belief systems, it's only affecting my mental body, right? What about the affirmations, etc., that we do, that's affecting my mental body, and the emotional work is affecting my astral body, that is my solar plexus.
You're right. So the answer is no. The work that you're doing affects all the bodies. Okay?
Okay.
It's not just that the emotion affects the etheric body or the causal body. No, it's all very intricate. And the reason why I'm trying to explain is that every single emotion is stored in different parts of the body based on how you traumatized yourself, how you stored and reinforced those belief systems in the body. Okay, so let's use the example of fear. Fear, let's say feeling very unsafe. And you are going to learn how to feel safe in many different aspects of yourself. So every single chakra of your body is processing this belief system at different layers. Different organs are storing memories of unsafety differently. So, in other words, it's not just that you're only healing certain parts of your body, the entire system becomes restructured because everything is interconnected. The organs, the endocrine system, the bioelectrical system, the way that your energy body is expanding and contracting energetically is also responding to how you're reorganizing these emotions in the body. Is that kind of clear?
Yes, yes. So the thing is that I've been doing your challenges for 2 years almost now, and saw a lot of changes happening in my life. But there were certain patterns that were, it's almost like I'm like, the analogy of a balloon that is trying to fly, but something is pulling it down again, again, again. So with the affirmations, with the emotional healing, I was able to see a lot of changes, but there are certain things that are repeating again, again, again. So I thought that maybe it's my karma or something that is playing even now. And is there something else that needs to be done apart from affirmations and emotional healing on my end?
Yeah, so it really just comes down to understanding how deep the root goes. Because you may have been able to heal maybe a surface level or certain layers of this emotional trauma, but in reality, there's much more. It means that the root of those emotions go deeper. And the invitation is for you, how you get there. Follow the emotion. So, whatever the emotion is, feel that emotion and notice the layers. They're going to show you how you have reinforced this belief system throughout your life. And I also
Can I
want,
give you an example for this?
sure, sure, go ahead.
So let's say my partner, I felt in my relationship is cheating on me. So first layer is I feel a lot of angst against this person, a lot of aggression towards this person.
Yeah.
But at a deeper level, the second layer was the anger that I have towards my parents, towards my father and my mother. Then I went a bit deeper. So maybe it's my past life karma that I have done it to someone else too, and now I'm experiencing this. Maybe or maybe not, I do not know. Then at a deeper level, what I felt is I always felt that I'm not beautiful, that other women are more beautiful than me. So these were the layers that via your challenge I was able to understand.
Amazing. Fantastic work. Congratulations. So we got to keep going because this is only one layer. And you're going to see the parallel. Everything that you're saying is extremely clear. It's a core belief system of unworthiness that is rooted in all the bloodlines. Your partner feeling unworthy, looking outside for validation, for confirmation, for fulfillment of a void. We feeling unworthy in the way we are and way we look, and then that's passing down your ancestral lineage for many generations. And the wounding is, you're going to see it in the feminine, how in the feminine it's manifested, and also in the masculine. Your job would be to uncover how it's being manifested by both those two polarities. And when you identify that, you're going to see how you're playing those out in your lifetime, how you play them out, your internal dialogue, how you play them out in your external world. The wounding is much deeper than just any of those one parts. It goes much deeper. So when you get to the root cause, it's a pattern in the construct of your belief system that has been existing for a long time. The question is, what would be the opposite of that? What would it look like to feel worthy, completely accept yourself radically, every part of you? And that's when the old systems of our mother and father start to dissolve, because that's been unheard of in their generations, right? You can't accept yourself fully because you have to abide by society and be socially accepted and follow the rules, masculinity and femininity, all these concepts, right? And that's what you need to transform in yourself. That is
So,
how.
so
Mhm.
okay. No, no, please continue.
No, so basically the transformation of that of those belief systems will change the way you see yourself, the way you see the world outside, and it's also going to change your choices and your attraction. You might realize that maybe we came into the partnership from a place of survival following those ancestral belief systems, not really because it's what we agree and we truly align with. Um, you might find that perhaps the partnership has run its course and maybe it's time to change. That would be the real embodiment of this knowledge into wisdom. Okay, so please go ahead, SJ. What's your
So in my case now, as you said that you need to see it from both ends, the polarity, that is the masculine, feminine within me. So the feminine within me felt that I'm not beautiful enough. What's the role of my masculine part in this case, and how do I change this belief system via affirmations? Is that
right?
all?
Did you say affirmations?
Yes, affirmations and the technique that you teach us to go in that moment and provide us with the emotions that we lack.
Yeah, yeah. So, yes, affirmations is one tool, but the real work is to alchemize emotionally. So, first of all, an amazing example, the feminine feels unworthy, but actually, um, the unworthiness is first a disconnect from the self and a feeling of instability and insecurity. See, feminine and masculine, the masculine is the action, the embodiment, the feminine is the intuition, and it is the receiving of things. So the masculine is the giving of things. You'll notice that because we are, let's say we have these belief systems of insecurity, not feeling beautiful enough, we don't show ourselves in the world. We don't go beyond our limitations. We don't get the job that we want. So our actions are limited by this belief that we are not beautiful. That's how the masculine is affected. This is just a very simplified example. But so you would have to heal the belief system of how you perceive your look or your worth and your value, and balance action and intuition, emotions and embodiment. Giving and receiving have to be equal with ourselves and with everything outside of us, from that perception. So it's not just about affirmations. We need to really embody the understanding, make the actual change from that old belief system into the now. And that would require that kind of shift.
Okay, so now that I'm doing the emotional challenge, the emotional mastery challenge, etc., so that is enough for me to first provide that emotion to me, and then in practicality, I need to see where I was losing those opportunities and start showing up in day-to-day interactions. So that's how the old belief system will fall off and new belief system will start up. And the point of attraction also will change.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay, and
So, yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
no, no, you completed the narrative.
Okay. All right. Great. SJ, thank you so much. That's a wonderful question. Thank you.
One more thing about past life karmas, etc. So if I'm facing something, is it that I have done this to someone else, maybe some years back, and now I'm facing this?
Well, you see, it's a complex question because we need to know first why we did what we did. Actually, the reason why it's happening is the why. So let's say, for example, we said something horrible to someone, um, and that defense mechanism inside of you that did not feel safe and secure with communication, the root is actually the same mirror that is happening to the other person. So the insecurity that led you to behave that way is the same resonance that the other person has insecurity. That became the mirror. We attracted another insecure person in order to experience this dual insecure experience, for both of us to recognize our insecurities through this interaction. So actually, the karma goes a little bit deeper. We everyone that we meet in our life, everyone that we interact with, is a reflection of these core subconscious belief systems that we're repeating for many lifetimes. So the
Oh,
invitation. Mhm. Go ahead, SJ.
yes, yes, I have heard it in the Ho'oponopono concept also. I think you're aware of it. Ho'oponopono.
Yes. Yes.
So it states this only that you need to that the world is a mirror, and we need to clean up the emotions that come up when a certain event arises in our life. And are you aware of Mona Simeona's Ho'oponopono method? I'm so sorry, I've been asking. Are you aware
Yes.
of it?
Yes. Yes.
Self-identity through
I'm
Ho'oponopono.
I'm familiar. Yes.
Okay, so is it enough? Like it really touches the concept of divine creator, etc. So what is your take on that? Because you usually mention that we are the person who is responsible for our creation. So I was doing it, but I had some theories around it. So can you please explain your take on that?
Yes, I mean, definitely, that is, the laws of creation, as we explained it, very simple. It's exactly the same. Everyone is a reflection of yourself, yes. And even deeper than that, everyone that you interact with is also a reflection. It's an experience that's mirrored that we have within not only our ancestral lineage, but many lifetimes that we're repeating over and over again. So yeah, this what I can say. It's the same in that regard.
Okay, so doing these two tools are enough for me in my case specifically, like your emotional healing challenge and self identity through Ho'oponopono by Mona Simeona.
Yeah, so the Ho'oponopono, I'm not very familiar all the way with what techniques they're using to get to the root of it. Affirmations are important, but they're not going to. You need to do the deep internal work to get to the root, so you understand what you're repeating and why. So yeah, these meditations can help you with that in the emotional healing challenge. I'm running through many emotions. Once you learn the technique, it's just the technique that you need to learn to go into the emotions and unpack what it is. And we want to learn how to come back into harmonic order, as much harmonic order as possible. Be as completely honest with yourself, because a lot of times the ego makes up all kinds of stories and lies and defends and protects from the actual truth. So allow yourself the compassion and love to get really to the truth of you. And that requires some time, some attention with yourself. That's where you're going
Okay, because
to understand. Yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but the premise of Ho'oponopono states that it's the divine creator that transmutes all the emotions and our traumatic memories.
Oh,
So in your own presentation slide just now, I saw that the seventh chakra is responsible for the creation of the reality, and the eighth chakra is our connection to the divine creator.
yes, but it's not that it transmutes it for you. You are it. You are the seventh dimension. You are the higher self. You have to alchemize
Yeah,
it
yes. Yes,
consciously.
yes, we have the divinity within us. It's said that we have the divinity within us, and everyone has their own divinity. And we, via clearing of these limiting beliefs, these patterns, we connect to our higher self, and that is the superconscious mind that provides us with the inspiration on what is to be done or how it is to be done. That's the premise of hope, Munuguru.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not too keen on the concept of inspiration because I really feel that a lot of these concepts they take away your free will and they make you depend on something external. So I just want to be very clear in the work that I'm sharing with you. You must take absolute accountability for your creation, and you are the one that's in charge of alchemizing. And you are the higher self. There is no separation between yourself and any higher consciousness. It is all you. It's within you. You access that by integrating that as you. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
SJ, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Let me go to the next one. Let's go to Ted. The healer can guide the healing, but it's the individual who has to do all the work. The healer can help us with the guide. The healing is done. In my message, when I helped clients, all the pain was stored, memories filled with emotions. 100%, Ted. Amazing. Fantastic. Jason says, hello, Geraldine. Thank you so much for all you do. My question is, if we had an alteration of our DNA during an ET abduction, are we still able to alchemize and heal our lineage DNA? This happened to me, and I'm feeling difficulty with the alchemization process during meditation. Interesting. Absolutely, yes. And here's why. We create the experience with these interdimensionals. We create that. We are not separate, and we're not at the mercy of anything external to us that has more power. This is something that we really need to understand, even though it seems that way. It seems like we're taken out and we're taking into this other dimension. In reality, first of all, we're connecting with this other dimension because it's in our DNA. So whatever beings you're interacting with that you had that experience with, that is literally in your DNA. You have that lineage within you. It's part of your DNA. We have emerged and interacted with this lineage for many lifetimes from a non-linear, it's a spherical model of time. And a lot of times these abductions, which I don't really call them abductions, I call them experiences, simply because nothing is happening without your participation, even something negative, even seemingly an abduction. And I know that that's a difficult thing for us to process, but we have agreements, and also the concept of time is different. You might be remembering in your dream state an experience that is happening simultaneous in another dimension. It could be that it happened when you were a child. It could be that it's happening in the future. And the reason why that matters is that we tend to think that it's going to affect our life now. It's going to paralyze us now, emotionally, physically, mentally, in some way. But in reality, there are more reasons for why we have these experiences. So I usually invite you to go deep into meditation or do a hypnotherapy and to understand the experience deeper. Usually our first take on the experience is through a very limited perception, and we don't really quite understand what's actually happening there. DNA modification, it's an entire library that nothing can ever be removed or changed. That's what our science is going to want to tell us now. But nothing can ever be removed or changed. It can be edited or changed, but in the bigger picture, again, energy can never be destroyed. It is only transferred. So there's always a chain reaction to genetic modification of any kind, positive or negative. And so the alchemization process of healing your ancestral lineage is within your field. It is your entire body, your entire existence. It's within the morphogenetic field. It's not just in a little strand of DNA. It's an entire holographic bioelectrical structure of memory that is not something that is tangible or localized. Your memory and your lineage and your ancestral experiences exist within your entire organism. So even though the organism is a holographic projection of DNA, the core root database of information can never be eliminated. So in other words, yes, you can alchemize your ancestral lineage and your memory. My invitation is to take a look at and revisit this experience that you had to understand what is actually happening there, what was actually edited, why was it edited, what kind of agreements did we make to have those experiences. When I talk about agreements, it's not that we, sign a paper contract. Every emotion that we feel, every inquiry, every intuition, every curiosity that we have on different levels, we're creating timelines that match those thought forms. That's why we are such powerful creators. In other dimensions, our creation is instantaneous. That's why communication is telepathic. Everything is completely transparent. There's nothing you can say or think that isn't fully available on you at all times. So we are exchanging experiences with one another immediately. In this dimension, there's a lag time of our awareness, of our consciousness. So by meditation, and when we enter the 0 point where we have access to everything simultaneously, that's why that is the strongest and most powerful point to access this information. And hypnotherapy is a great tool for that, but also conscious meditation can help you. Okay. And then the other part on alchemizing lineage DNA, it's really interesting. What we're really talking about is emotional programs. Through your emotions, as long as you can feel emotions, you can alchemize anything in your ancestral DNA, not just ancestral DNA, but also your past lives. It's all through the emotional body. Okay. So thank you so much for that question. Let me come over here to the chat. Hi guys in the YouTube. Thank you for being here. Aaron, Baka, great to see you. Thirsty, Andrea, great to see you. Zay, it's been a month, has been so painful and intense. A lot of emotions coming up. I need to do the work. Thank you, Geraldine. Thank you for being here, Zay. I hope it gets better for you. Andrew and Gnome Trucking, welcome. So great to see you. Quantum Beauty. Yes, I got the live. sovereign being. Can you explain what Christ consciousness is? Ooh, that's a long one. Sovereign being. Okay, so Christ consciousness. I mean, the name itself doesn't really mean much other than the etymology behind that, right? Um, because these concepts go beyond the construct of a Christ or a Christ consciousness or a school of thought. Innately, you are infinite potential, and that infinite potential channeled to your body as creation in the three-dimensional realm can move and transform matter, energy, thought form. Okay, so we actually have a lot. This reality is a lot more malleable than we believe, than we know. And an example of that was the life of Jesus Christ, the life of Krishna, the life of Buddha, all of these ascended masters that dedicated themselves in activating their DNA, reactivating their core memory, and activating the bioelectricity of the body. Okay, because all of them are teaching us how to activate the bioelectricity of the body. Why? Because when we embody pure unconditional love, which is not an emotion, it's not a new age concept. Unconditional love is the unifying force of creation. As I was just explaining, the integration of the upper, middle, and lower Dantian energy centers is basically what unconditional love, it emerges from that. That becomes the 0 point. The 0 point is the point in which we access infinite potential through this vessel. And this is where we access all of our memory of our lifetime, many lifetimes, ancestral lifetimes. This is also the embodiment of Christ consciousness. Okay. Now, when we go into more the etheric arts of this, the activation of bioelectricity allows you to become highly conductive. You're a toroidal field. And what happens is our human bodies are designed beautifully, intricately, to allow us to navigate out-of-body experiences, okay? Because half of our life is out-of-body experiences. Your dream states are where you activate, access out-of-body experiences. This is where you are becoming aware of past and future lifetimes, your ancestral lineage. You navigate the Akashic records through your astral body, okay? And the astral body can be accessed by the cultivation. You can remember your experiences. That the key is memory. Memory is available to you through conductivity, okay? So the more bioelectrical you are, the more memory you recover. And the more bioelectrical you become means that your toroidal field is moving in a centrifugal manner, okay? Oh, sorry, centripetal. I just get those. Can be centripetal, okay? Moving inward, rather than external, okay? What happens when we begin to move in a centripetal manner is that the microcosmic orbit, or the system of energy that moves through your body, can begin to produce higher octave frequencies, higher octave brain waves, which allows you to navigate higher octave dimensions through the production of DMT as a result of the collection of chrism. Okay, so Christ consciousness refers to your primordial life force, the integration of your three energy centers integrating as one, pulling that energy, drawing it up into the pineal gland in order to produce more melatonin, which then creates the chrism. The chrism is essentially the crystallization, the self-organized geometry of the pineal gland that allows you to navigate out of body consciously, bioelectrically. Okay, so it's not just the chemical response, it's a bioelectrical energy navigation that allows you to move in many dimensions. So Christ consciousness means that you are able to, you develop the ability to do that. For what reason? Not because it's cool, it's interesting. It's the integration, it's the awareness of yourself as all and nothing simultaneously. And again, I mean, we can refer, levels of consciousness. We can refer this chrismic process of energy. But essentially, the process of coming into this Christ consciousness and developing this is really, you become like Jesus, you become like Buddha, you become like all these ascended masters. And that's when you have the mastery over timelines. Your physical body comes into higher octave co-creation, health, longevity. We can live many years again, rather than our limited lives. The body enters into a system of regeneration. We can remote view any planet, any timeline. There is no limitation to where the information that you have access to. It is all available to you in the present moment. Okay, and I've experienced that, and you can experience that too, by the activation of your pineal gland, decalcifying your pineal gland, and also learning how to move the energy through your body. Okay, so how do we do that? Is, again, you gotta deconstruct matrix construct, limiting belief systems in the bioelectrical energy emotional system, in order to allow these systems to move and begin to start working with your higher octave faculties, right? So your five senses, your sixth, seventh, and eighth chakra are completely activated, which was represented by the halo, the golden halo, right? Around the angels, around the Buddhas, around all the ascended masters. This is what you're developing, because your creation is here in the seventh and eighth chakra. Most of these are dormant for the majority of you. You're not even aware of that. You're not functioning from the higher self. The higher self is dormant. And this seventh chakra is where we create our reality. So, this is, I'm touching, like, it's the tip of the iceberg of what Christ consciousness really means. But as a short overview, this is how we can define Christ consciousness. Okay. Let me come over here to the questions. Thank you so much for that question. We'll should do a class on that one. That's a big one. V says, I was watching Jurassic Park yesterday. What is your opinion on genetically modified or cloned humans? Are they different than naturally created humans? Yes, I personally have seen and have known and have been utilized, parasitized upon to create these cloned humans. What is genetically modified in them is that they have deactivated DNA. So an organism, okay, so every remember that the gene code, the infant gene code, all organisms are just different genetic markers turned on and off to create a different organism. A banana to a human, right? We have different genes that are turned on and off, an ape and a human, a plant and a human. The DNA blueprint of all creation is one system. And so from this blueprint of all potential organic creation in this dimension, remember, just in this dimension, because beyond that, the database of information is holographic. It's no longer about form and shape, and those forms and shapes are changing depending on the dimension in which they are manipulated. In this dimensional plane, when an organism has deactivated DNA and only the skeleton code is utilized, basically the organism manifests in one of two ways. Extremely primitive, draconian kind of organisms, psychologically, emotionally, biochemically, bioelectrically. Their system is designed to only operate through the construct, which is matrix construct, which is basically on the most primitive survival mechanisms. It can eat, it can sleep, and it can fear. It can feel limited ranges of emotions. The ability to activate intuition in this organism is disconnected. The ability to, it's limited. It's not entirely disconnected. It's just limited. and it is deeply programmed. Remember, we are programmable beings. Okay, so we get, just like majority of the human race is programmed right now to operate in a very primitive style of existing. So much like AI that is being taught to behave in certain ways, it becomes a robotic, less autonomous, more codependent organism that is essentially operating in a more parasitic manner. Okay, so it's completely connected to religion or a god or a political system. So, there are many humans on this planet that are operating on this clone-like way. And clones are created genetically. I mean, we think it's just physically, biologically, but in reality, what is being cloned is the history that is accessible through the DNA. Okay, so DNA is a holographic system that is a portal into many universes. Okay, so clones are utilized as navigation vessels to specific universes, information, races, species, and then it becomes a malleable, programmable organism. You can do whatever you want with it, basically. Okay, so alternatively, the human that breaks away from that clone construct, and I do believe that these organic clones can regain consciousness because they are able to access once again a sacred geometrical structure. Now, this is a deeper topic, but not all clones are created with souls. Okay, so clones that are created through the hybridization program have a soul, and their geometry is completely different. They can access conscious. They are conscious. The other one is clones that are robotic or artificially intelligent, and they are mechanical. Their structure is not created from a genetic DNA. It is a transhumanist. It's actually a transhumanism, and it's more robotic artificial technology than it is organic technology. These are very different. Inorganic technology can never become conscious because it is a completely different structure, bioelectrically, geometrically. It's a completely different structured organism. So that would be the difference essentially. And the clones that are created with souls are utilized to create alternate timelines, other planets. Again, it's like the hybridization program. And the clones that are created more of a transhumanist robotic are just carried out like soldiers or easily programmable to carry out very specific agendas. Okay, so there are different kinds of clones. I have not seen the film, so I'm not sure exactly what you were referring to. But yes, they are extremely different. A person that talks beautifully about this, for those of you that are more scientifically minded and maybe like to know more about physics of it, is Dan Winter. He does amazing job to explain the intricacies of the physics of inorganic and organic technology. So if you guys want to check that out, you can check that out. Kristen K says, what's the relationship between neutrality and love? So love is not an emotion, and neutrality is not necessarily void of emotion. Okay. Neutrality is basically the integration and the presence of all emotions simultaneously. It is the awareness of all emotions simultaneously. That's actually neutrality. You think neutrality is void of everything, but actually it's all encompassing. Okay, so when you're neutral and you're able to sustain in your body bioelectrical and emotional nervous system regulation and experience all the emotions, you are truly able to experience the full range of those emotions. Because most people that don't have a regulated nervous system and are not neutral, they can only experience limited ranges of each or any one emotion at a time. Okay, so when we talk about love, love isn't in the way that I'm speaking Okay, there's love, the emotion, which is more like affection, care, compassion, those ranges of love. Okay, not talking about deep passion or physical lust, pure love. Okay, that's more compassion, caring, connection, intimacy. Um, those are the smaller range of love. But there is another higher octave love which emerges from neutrality, which is the ability to experience the entire range of all emotions. And from that neutral, that unified, that unification of the self in all those emotions is actually is the emergence of real love, unconditional love. Not a lot of people know that or are familiar with that or can have experienced that. Okay, but the emergence of that unconditional love is a geometrical structure. Basically, the body forms a merkaba when we have love emerging from neutrality. Okay, so a good sign that you are now encompassing, you're developing your merkaba body, is that you are truly able to sustain the 0 point, and from this 0 point begins to emerge this love. And it's not, again, an emotion that is felt here within the body. It's felt within your entire field. It's a unification of yourself with the all. Okay, so I hope that makes that clear. Sovereign being, can you explain what Christ consciousness really is? Okay, I did that one already. What causes self-sabotage? Yeah, that's an amazing question. I mean, self-sabotage really is any time that we have been, we took on the belief somewhere, somehow, that we are incapable of or unworthy of experiencing whatever it is that we're experiencing. And so we will revert back to familiar experiences in order to avoid the unknown. Okay, so a lot of self-sabotage is really fear of the unknown. And in order for us to grow, to evolve, to move outside of our comfort zone, we have to be okay with the unknown because we have to be able to experience beyond the limitations of our belief systems. But, to answer that question, it's a very personal thing. Every person reaches that state in different ways. So, we have to take a look at what your belief systems are that lead you to that. Lavina Statin, after I have had an interaction and I can feel IV taken on emotions, and I say to myself and source, I cut all contracts and cords and return them to source. Should I be in meditation? You see, the thing about this, Lavinia, that's a beautiful name, Lavinia, my invitation would be to try to either go back to that memory to understand what is actually happening there. Because you can cut cords and you can do all of that, but if you don't understand why you're experiencing that and how you ended up in that experience, you're not really doing much. Okay? Because I think we're coming to a maturing point in this global experience of interaction, of interdimensional interaction, that it's really important that we understand why we have these kinds of experiences. Say the IV is taken. Well, what's happening there? What is actually doing? What's actually being done there? Who are these beings? What's your relationship to them? What happened before leading into that experience? Because using that awareness to discern your experiences will help you understand much bigger concepts about yourself, who you are, what you're doing, what your role is with these kinds of experiences, and why they are coming to your memory now. It might be that archetypally we are living out a certain experience for many lifetimes, and now it's come to the forefront for us to address it. So cutting cords with them isn't necessarily especially source. You cannot cut you cannot cut cords with source, but I think what you're saying is emotions, right? So work with the emotions that are coming up, work with the emotions that are coming up there, and allow the emotions to help you understand the broader picture of why this experience happened. You are source. I just want to make that clear. You are source. You are not separate from source. But any kind of energetic hygiene that you might be doing when you have an experience, clean your energetic bubble. Make sure that you have your bubble around. Your bubble is your energy system, which exists whether you like it or not there. Your awareness is what allows you to have free will in your experiences. So allow yourself to embody the awareness of your bubble, maintaining it completely solid all around you, no holes, no openings. Chances are that if we have a lot of holes in our space, we can have these kinds of parasitic experiences. Again, you need to understand what is happening there. So close your energetic field. And if you cut cords with everything, do it consciously, not from a place of fear. That's really what I mean to say, because, this kind of action of, oh, let me just blindly cut the cord and it's going to go away. That's not really how things work. We have to understand why we are experiencing that. So many questions, guys. So many questions. Hold on. My children were hurt by the divorce. What can I do to help them heal? Well, working with our children, as I mentioned many times, depending on how old they are. I mean, if they're small little children under the age of maybe 10, we can work with them emotionally and we can meditate, teach them how to meditate, teach them how to do DNA reprogramming on themselves to begin to understand what emotions are coming up and triggered. That is one way to help them. Secondary, that you are meditating and you are working on alchemizing your participation in both the marriage itself, what brought you to the connection of that marriage, all the karmic contracts leading into that marriage, and then taking a look at what are the repetitive patterns that may have caused the hurt, the pain in the divorce, because these are usually things that are passing down the ancestral lineage for a long time, and not only the union, but the divorce and the children are all manifestations of ancestral programs that we're repeating, these karmic experiences that we keep repeating. So the invitation is that we stop repeating all of the core belief systems that led us into these kinds of experiences and hold space for your children from that place, which is probably going to be more authenticity, more transparency, more communication, more presence with them, however old they are. We all need these kinds of very present, grounded awareness with ourselves and with others to be able to hold that kind of authentic space. And just simply that authentic space can be incredibly healing for children, because children are not, they don't lie. They're very authentic and they operate on a state of this, raw authenticity. So, when we meet them at that place, all the masks fall off. Try to let go of all the masks that you may have been wearing, either to protect yourself or protect them. This is always something that is very helpful in healing family units. Communication is extremely important. And love yourself, because as you love yourself and as you embody self-love, your daily routine is an embodiment of love. Your work, your career, your relationships are handled with self-love. That's the best example, because that will permeate into the relationship, into how you are talking to them, interacting with them with respect, with kindness, with authenticity. The children learn from that. That is a massive way of teaching and healing. Love, love, love. Hi, Jolene. Now that the new paradigm is shifting by way of consciousness, moving into a higher octave, I wonder if the psi abilities such as intuition, is the new survival tool. Okay, so first of all, yes, it's a new paradigm, but it's up to you and it's very individual. You create your own paradigm, number one. Number two, we are not, consciousness doesn't move into a higher octave. Consciousness is the product of, it emerges from infinite potential. Okay? Consciousness emerges from infinite potential. Infinite potential includes all octaves of everything that's ever been created. It's the all. And we are just experiencing fractals of that all at different levels. And we experience higher octave, lower octave reality many times throughout our day. You are all oscillating through many dimensions throughout your day, many perceptions, many emotions. Each emotion that you feel leads you to experience your reality in either a higher octave or a lower octave of experience. So first, that is really important to understand. And from there, yes, I've mentioned before that your intuition is basically your new survival tool, because the massive amounts of information that are flooding into the system, massive amounts of stimulation through the sensory body, are overloading you away from cultivating the more subtle faculties that are available to each person. And so, what is really important right now is that we actually disconnect in order to not become transhumanists, which we already, a majority of us are already, we've already programmed our DNA in that way. We can see our children that are addicted to iPads or technology. They simply cannot live outside of this, false reality, artificial reality. So that is a genetic modification that will affect many generations moving forward. And so the connection, the activation of our higher faculties and our intuition is returning back into harmonic order, away from these transhumanist agendas, into the activation of your organic technology, which is intuition, telepathy, remote viewing, even bilocating will be something that we will be able to do eventually. But right now, we need to develop telepathy and remote viewing abilities very powerfully, because they're going to help us discern. You can remote view your experience that you had the other night. For example, Lavinia, you can remote view. That's what we do in hypnotherapy. We go into hypnotherapy and you remote view your experiences. Remote viewing is not just about timelines that exist right now, simultaneous to us. You can remote view any timeline, any dimension, any planet, anywhere, anytime. And that is a very important tool that we need to learn to develop, because it helps you go outside of a very myopic perception of your reality, and any manipulations that might be feeding into that reality, either from your own self emotionally and your own traumas, or the external world. So, in order to discern what is real, because right now, even though this is also a dream state, you need to learn how to discern what is in harmonic order and what is not in harmonic order. It's not so much about reality as much as it is what is in harmonic order. And, we come back to what is real by being in the present moment. And a lot of what we are experiencing is taking us away from that present moment. That's why it's so easy to manipulate that. Okay. So, in other words, the answer is yes, but I hope I clarified some of those little details. Then what is it at the higher end? Can you clarify that? Okay, guys, you guys have so many amazing questions. I love you, and I want to answer them all, but we didn't even get to the meditation, so let's do that, and then we'll continue. All right, guys? Go ahead and get nice and grounded. Allow yourself to come back into your body. Go ahead and connect to the center of the earth. Visualize your grounding cord connecting from your body down to the center of the earth. And visualize your bubble around your body. Make sure that your bubble has no openings. Bring your full awareness to the present moment. Go ahead and shrink your root chakra down to the size of a dime. Sacral, solar, you should feel your body becoming less emotional, more grounded, more balanced, more calm, less stressed. You should feel that it's easier to be in the present moment. Almost as if the static has dropped. Go up into your heart chakra. Go ahead and expand your heart chakra, opening front and back. Your throat, your third eye, and your crown. From the center of the earth, go ahead and pull up a powerful wave of healing energy, whatever color that is, up your spine, creating a vortex of energy at your center core. From source, go ahead and bring cold cosmic energy down to the crown of your head, combining with the healing earth energy. Take 10% of that back down to the center of the earth. 80% up your spine from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your body. And the final 10% absorbing into the body, into the pores, into the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level. Allow that energy to run through the body. Relax all the muscles in your body. Go ahead and clean your energy body from front to back and back to front. The entire toroidal field. Imagine you're sweeping it down to the center of the earth. Any debris, any blocks, any pictures that you find in your energy body, just clear it out. Go into the room of karmic contracts. Allow yourself to see all the karmic agreements that you made coming into this world to experience. Use your illuminated crown to shine on top of all these contracts and eliminate them, break them, dissolve them, whatever feels real to you. Go ahead and go up into the next room. Now that this room is cleared, you're going to eliminate all the relationships that don't have your best interest. You're going to see a room full of shadows. Dissolve those shadows. You're going to see a bundle of sticks in the bottom on the floor. Just imagine that you're going to break those in half. Okay, go ahead and clear your space. I want you to begin to observe yourself over the past 24 hours. Take a look at the emotion that was strongest for you in the past 24 hours, the strongest trigger in the past 24 hours. Notice what part of your body tenses up the most, where you hold that emotion the most in your body. And go ahead and allow yourself to feel that emotion that is held and trapped in that part of your body. Allow yourself to feel, acknowledge, almost as if you are both in your body and also out of your body, looking at yourself having that emotion. Notice what emotions begin to emerge as you feel this emotion in your body. Go ahead and sit with that emotion and notice the emotions that come up. Every single emotion that comes up, allow yourself to feel it, acknowledge it. And you'll notice that the less you try to control this process, the more information comes up for you. Notice what is the strongest of these emotions and be present with that emotion. Okay, as you allow yourself to notice the strongest one, take yourself back to the very first time that you felt that emotion. Notice yourself in this experience as if you're watching a movie of yourself. You don't need to get completely identified with the emotions that are there, but I want you to see yourself experiencing that moment. I want you to acknowledge the emotions that you're feeling in that moment. Notice who is triggering that emotion in you. Is it a man or a woman? That'll help you understand feminine and masculine, which one of these polarities have been most affected by this experience. As you begin to observe this experience, look at yourself, notice what you're feeling, allow yourself to be present with the emotion that comes up for you. Go ahead and notice what is it that you need in that moment in order to no longer feel that way. This will help you understand how to alchemize the emotion. Go ahead and see all the fractals of yourself repeating this same program throughout your life. Notice the impact of this belief system has had on your life. And you can ask yourself, what is it that you need from yourself in order to no longer repeat this pattern? As you begin to identify the list of what your needs are, take a look and ask yourself why we don't meet these needs on a daily basis. Observe what is happening, what distracts us. what makes us feel fearful, where we have doubts. You're going to begin to feel and notice how it is to become more familiar with these emotions. Go ahead and fill your body with this emotion that you need. Just notice how it feels in your body. Let yourself see all these fractals of yourself merging into one self. As you begin to fill your body with all these needs, this former self and also your present self, I want you to get very familiar with what it feels to embody this motion in your body. Notice your youngest inner child, how they respond to this, how they change, how they shift. Go ahead and integrate them as one. Allow everything to leave your space as you begin to see the many generations that are repeating this pattern, how it's affected your many generations of your family. And the invitation is for you to come into awareness as to why it's so important to not repeat this again. As you see all these aspects of yourself integrating, inhale deeply back into your body and release. I want you to fill your body with everything that you need in this moment. If you need peace, if you need more attention, more love, more appreciation, more affection, if you need to be seen, if you need to be heard, fill yourself with all the needs that you might have had in the past week. As you nourish your mind and your body, your emotions. Very good. And as you feel this emotion, you're beginning to shift holographically your energy system. I want you to turn it into a color. You're going to fill your body with this color, integrate into every pore. Absorb it into the body. Allow yourself to open the root chakra at the base of the spine. You're going to spin your root chakra as fast as possible, eliminating any blockages in the root. Your sacral, your solar, heart. Closing the heart just a little bit. The throat just a little bit. And the third eye just a little bit. You're going to activate your third eye, your crown, expanding your crown, expanding the eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13. Bring yourself fully into your body. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And above you is a powerful white light of source. I want you to bring that white light down into your body, like a pillar of white light down through the center core. You have another pillar of white light down through the solar plexus out through your back. Go ahead and see that pillar of light going around the parameter of the earth. And you are at the center of this axis of your source, cord, and earth axis. I want you to open your eyes, and with your eyes open, allow yourself to see your surroundings, feel your body. Welcome back. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. It was such an honor to be here with you and to share this information. I hope this meditation helped you on cultivating the 0 point this week. I'm going to just check the questions one more time in case there's anything I can answer quickly. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Let me come over here to the questions. Let's see. I'd love to know your thoughts on what you pick up when you tune into Mount Shasta, one of Earth's chakras. Yes. I think I've talked about this before a couple times, but I have two perceptions about Mount Shasta. It is very much a vortex. Well, there's many vortices everywhere all the time, but it is a powerful energy grid system. Unfortunately, I do believe that there is a lot of heavy energies around there, military interest in that area. But yeah, it's definitely a very healing place otherwise. When you travel, is it actually flying? I have muscle memories of my body flying. Not sure if it's from that or from somewhere else. Yeah, so dreams of flying is usually leaving into the astral plane. We tend to have a lot of dreams of flying. And also, it's part of the phenomena of contact as well. Many contactees that have experienced since they were children have experiences of flying. And that's actually one of the indicators that you're having these kinds of experiences. It's part of a marker memory. Is that also true for IVF babies and CRISPR babies? I'm not sure what context the question was for, but if you're talking about the hybridization program, yes, all souls, all organisms with souls that are being brought into this dimensional plane are absolutely divinely created for the purpose of, well, many purposes, but it's brought forth by this ancestral lineage. Overlander says, I can't help but think about the machine elves in a conversation about these clones. B says, do hybrid babies also tether is to the earth like normal babies? How do you know if you have a hybrid babies? Yeah, that's a very complex question. Please watch my video on the hybridization program on my channel. But also tethered, yeah, genetically. So whenever you create a baby or a hybrid, we are one. We are one with everything, but we are more so connected through that genetic web, essentially this morphogenetic field, to our offspring, to our children, and to our immediate frequency family. Mm-hmm. Hi, Christine. Great to see you. I always wondered what the conversation would be like if Geraldine and Greg Braden sat down to have these conversations. Yes, that would be fun. Subtle energies, sovereign beings. What is your perspective energetically on the Bible, especially the Psalms? Ooh, it's been many years. When I was a child, I used to read and familiarize myself with the Bible, but I don't remember much of it now. Yeah. Andrew, Blue Cruise. Awesome Book of Prayers. Love, Love, Love says, If intuition is at the lower end, survival tool, then what is at the higher end? No, intuition is not at the lower end. It's definitely part of, um, our higher faculties. But intuition is like the basic thing. It's like that should be basic for us. Okay. At the higher end are manipulation of matter. Okay. We can travel interdimensionally consciously. Basically, we can turn our body into an orb and travel many dimensions. So there are many levels of what we are capable of doing. That we really don't even need to talk about because we're not really there. Some of you are doing it in dream state. A lot of you in dream states are already embodying those things. But a good example of that can be like superheroes or things like that. They model a lot of these kinds of things. All right. All right, guys, you guys had so many amazing questions. It was so fun to be here with you. I love you very much. Let me see. SJ Geraldine, are you able to see other people's chakras, etc., too, or any blockages in the body? Now I do know. Now I do know you did in past when your ability is heightened. Can you see mine now? Yes, I can. Yes, I can see that. And if you want, you can join my energy healing clinic, where I read your energy body. And I'm having to make it limited space because a lot of people signing up for it, and I just don't have the bandwidth to do it. But this month, I do have 2 guest readers that are going to be with us. So this will be one of the months that you can have a lot of people. So definitely sign up for that. It's an energy healing clinic. It's every month. Towards the end of the month, it's going to be next week, I think, or 2 weeks from now. So definitely sign up for that. SJ says, what resonance brought us together to do this work? I had a traumatic life. Suddenly coming across this work felt a relief, and I wonder, are we from the same soul groups? Yeah, the thing is, we're all one. We are not separate. Nobody's separate from each other. We are all completely one. We are emerging from the field of consciousness. But we kind of we are brought together through resonance, definitely. So everyone that's here in the group, like we've lived many lives that already knew this information. Every one of you that's here with me. So none of what I'm saying is new to you. You're just remembering. If you can resonate in the information I'm telling you, some people, they really cannot grasp some of this information, not even a small part of it. So, those of you that are remembering, you guys, we've been doing this a long time. So yeah, we just meet again and we just remember and we remind each other. Yeah, so Jai Jyoti, what session should I sign up for to help guide through the childhood trauma? Should I only take 1 or 2 sessions? Ted, childhood trauma, I would suggest DNA reprogramming. Because you're going to be working with the emotional system. Hypnotherapy is really more for you to connect with the higher self and answer really deep questions that are really hard to answer, and where there's a disconnect or a dissonance between your frequency and your higher self. We merge them together. Okay. So in this case, for emotional trauma, DNA reprogramming is definitely the way to go. And I would start with 1 session just because you need time to integrate. Although my calendar is booked between 1 and 2 months in advance. So a lot of my students will book sessions in advance. That way they have it once a month or every 2 months. So you can see what resonates with you. The sessions are 2 hours. We go as deep as we can in those 2 hours. And there's a lot that comes up. But as you know, the emotions are complex and there's a lot of layers. So a lot of times we can reach maybe 3 topics max, like 1 or 2 topics that are key for you. And then the rest we have to continue when you're ready, because, we can do these sessions all day, really. But yeah, so Ted, I hope that helps. And I look forward to working with you. Guys, I love you. Have an amazing week. And I do have really awesome events This weekend, I'm going to be speaking at the Conscious Awakening Network is hosting an event on disclosure. You guys can check that out if you're interested in that. Also, if you guys want to join me in Turkey and Greece, please sign up. That's in March. That's a really exciting event that's coming up, and I'm very excited to be there with you guys. Be sure that if you sign up for that cruise, that you say that you heard it from me using my name. If you don't, and I don't have enough signups, I won't be able to go. So just FYI there. So this weekend is The Truth is Out There, 19 to the 21st. 18 to the 20th. Next week on Tuesday, on the 23rd, is the Energy Reading Clinic. And on the 26th, I'm talking about the bioelectrical emotional mastery. That's really teaching you how to process emotions. We're going to go deep into the intricacies of these. If you're confused about how to sit with your emotions and how to get to the layers, this is the class for you. If you have a hard time sitting with strong emotions, overcoming emotions, emotions that are repeating, memories of traumas that won't go away, this is the class for you, because I'm going to be teaching all the mechanics and intricacies of that. And you know how deep I like to go. God, look at the month. We're already in August. August 3rd, guys, I'm going to be at the Darkness and Light Conference by Portal to Ascension. So that's another wonderful event. All right. Love you, and I will see you soon. Bye. Thank you.